YouTube, what up? I'm back. Haven't really done a video in a while. My apologies. Last winter was kind of brutal, and well, being that last winter was brutal, I didn't want to have any distractions. But yeah, I'm back with another video. Just finished cleaning out the truck. As you can see, I keep my stuff clean. No dust, no dust, no dust. But yeah, this truck was good to me, man. I'm leaving Legend after almost 2 years. Not in the best of terms, but you know, it is what it is. I'll get into that in a bit. But let's hook up to this trailer and get going. We're headed, I'm in Sloan, or Nevada, Vegas. I'm headed to Rancho Cucamonga to go drop off the truck, but I'm taking a load down there, so I'm not going down there empty. So yeah, let's hook up to this trailer and see what's up. What the hell? Well, look at this. We just got a random tail light hanging. Oh, gotta love these trailers that we got. Of course. Of course. This is why I actually quit. Well, part of the reason why I actually quit. Alright, after checking the lights all work on the trailer, but yeah, I'm missing a mud flap. And well, the crazy part about that, so I'm missing a mud flap, but this load came from Colorado, so hey, thanks driver, whoever the last driver was, for screwing me over. But that's just commonplace here, I guess. So let's call breakdown. Hey Siri, call Legend Transportation. Yeah, I was this is driver 5990.
59?
Yeah, 5990.
Okay, you're calling for the first time today?
Yeah, calling for the first time. I have trailer LEG 1237. And it's missing a mud flap. I'm currently at the Sloan yard, and the mechanic said that. Huh?
LEG?
Yeah, LEG 1237.
1237. Okay, truck number 1447, correct?
Yeah, truck. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you have empty trailer?
No, it's loaded trailer and it's missing a mud flap.
Okay, which side?
It's missing the mud flap on the passenger side.
Only one?
Yeah, just one.
Okay, bracket is good.
What was that?
Bracket is good, not the bracket.
Well, I'm at the Sloan yard. The mechanic said that
Okay, I will inform.
yeah, they say they had a mud flap. Yeah, the bracket is there. It just needs the mud flap and the bolts.
Okay, okay.
Alright, mechanics here replaced the mud flap, so we're ready to go. Well, at least I don't got to worry about agriculture in California in that scale. I'm always paranoid going into California with things like that, because man, you know, California always trying to make a buck off of you. But yeah, man, I've been here almost 2 years, and yeah, this is my last load. And I will say, you know, if you look at all my previous videos, I've been here a total of about, like I said, almost 2 years now. And those videos were up until like about my 7th month. And again, if you've seen those videos, I had really nothing but good things to say about Legend. And I mean, even to this day, they still have some good things going on for them, but the bad things have just accumulated. And yeah, it just got to the point where I felt like I needed to quit. For me, I really had 3 red lines. And that was first and foremost, you know, pay me what is owed to me without me having to jump through hoops to get that money, right? If I do something, I expect to get paid for it. It's like any driver, you know, is gonna expect to get paid for what he does. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? That's the first red hard line. The second line is, you know, get me home on my 6th day of being out on the road. It's like, you know, as a driver, especially here, when I was at Warner, I was out a month at a time and then would come back home for like 4 or 5 days. But here, since the very beginning, you reset at home. I got on this California to Utah dedicated so I could reset at home every single week. And honestly, it hadn't been a problem up until the past 2 months. But, you know, my other red hard line is get me home on my 6th day. You know, I go out on Sundays, come back on Friday. You could send me to whatever load you want the beginning of the week. But once we get to the 5th, 6th day, start trying to get me back home, and then don't put a bunch of obstacles on me as far as having me do like local pickups or having me do trailer swaps or stuff like that. Just give me a load that gets me back home. I mean, ultimately, we're out here sleeping in the back of a truck, you know, to provide for our families. And it's worth it if we're making money. But if I'm out here doing, you know, 5-10 mile runs that are taking 2 hours to live load on my day to get, you know, home, all it's going to cause me to do is be stressed out about time, having, you know, it's going to make me have to split my clock and get home late. So that's my second hard line, right? And I guess last is get me miles. Get me miles so it's worth it to be out here, right? Now, I will say, from when I first started to now, to put it in perspective, I started last year in April. I worked from April to December, and I've made about the same amount of money that I made last year, April to December, working almost a full year here. We're right now in beginning of December, and my W-2s for both year are gonna be off by like maybe $6,000. And I worked a whole 3 months more here, you know, this year versus last year. So just to give you some perspective of how much I've lost in mileage. When I first started, I was averaging about 28 to 3,200 miles a week. Now, on my good weeks, I'm averaging 2,500 and below. Especially if you get paid cents per mile. If you're out here doing 200-300 miles a day, you're not gonna make crap, and it's honestly a waste of your time. You know, realistically, if you're getting paid cents per mile, you wanna be making 500 to 600 miles a day to make it worth your while. Now, I know some drivers don't like to drive that much, but I mean, at least for me, that's what I would like. And unfortunately, being here at Legend, those 3 red hard lines have been pushed, you know, especially the last year, mainly the last 6 months, have been pushed to the point where I kind of felt like I had no choice but to quit. And I'll get into the incident of what happened to cause me to quit that happened this past Thursday. But yeah, those 3 red hard lines, I think, is reasonable for any driver. You're gonna get to a point where you're not gonna want to be out here if those 3 things get pushed. So when I hired on with the first driver manager I had, I never had any issues with detention pay, getting paid for local pay, because, you know, if you do any local runs here at Legend, they'll give you $50 for a local run, because, you know, you're cents per mile, so it's kind of a waste of your time as a driver. You kill 2-3 hours getting a live load, and you ran 15 miles, you're not making anything, right? So they give you $50 to cover for that. So detention pay, extra mile pay, local pickup pay, and then, you know, anytime you have to buy something for the truck, getting reimbursed or whatnot. All these things with my first DM were never a problem to get reimbursed or to get paid. It would automatically be on my check the next day, or not the next day, but the next week on my paycheck. And yeah, especially the last 2 months. I don't know if it's because Legend has part of their team based out in India and just things get lost in, you know, communication between the DM and HR, or if it's the fact that the last 2 DMs I've had, so I've had two new DMs, driver managers. The past 3 months, I've had 2 of them, right? I don't know if it's because they're new. I don't really know what it is, but every single week, if I'm owed local pay or if I'm owed detention, it's never on my paycheck. I call my DM and tell my driver manager, hey, it's not on my paycheck. What happened? Their response is always, well, we told HR, call payroll. I call payroll, and they tell me your DM never approved it or never submitted it. And it just becomes a battle back and forth of who said what. Ultimately, I just want to get paid for it. You know, my concern is being out here on the road, getting my loads at the destination on time. That, you know, that's my job, right? It's not to go through these hoops to get paid the money that I'm owed, right? So that's the first thing. That in the last 3 months here at Legend, it's gone to crap. Every single week, I got to fight for what is owed to me. And, you know, this past week, it was just a tipping point. Last week, I had to do a load where I had to buy straps for a load because I ran out of straps. They gave me, I'll be honest, in the past 2 years or almost 2 years that I've been here, I've probably done like maybe 10 loads that required straps. Most of the time, you know, they don't require straps. So in the last 2 weeks though, I've done like 3-4 of those loads back to back. So I usually get straps out of other trailers when I go to like the Home Depots. When we do those distribution centers, usually our trailers have straps in them. So I'll hop in the back and grab some straps. But since I did a bunch of them consecutively, I had to buy some. And I submitted my receipts and never got paid for it. Which it was $70 for 2 straps at a truck stop. You know what I mean? It's not like it's a couple bucks. It's $70, right? So I'm already owed $70. And then this week, I get another load that requires straps. And I had to go buy some. And I'm like, I tell my driver manager, dude, I'm already owed $70. I really don't want to have $140 floating that is owed to me. And he's like, well, I'm going to lunch, talk to the planner and, you know, figure it out. So I talk to the planner and I tell him my problem. And he tells me, look, I don't know why, you know, you didn't get paid for the last ones, but go ahead and pick up these straps and I'll get you paid today. I'll get you reimbursed today. And I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, just send me the receipt. I'm like, all right, cool. So I go get the straps, I get them. My driver manager comes back from lunch. He tells me, yeah, I don't know why the planner told you that. We can't get you reimbursed today. You're gonna have to wait on your next paycheck. I'm like, come on, guys. You guys are gonna lie to me to force me to get the straps for this load, and now you guys owe me $140. So that happened this week, right? On top of that, when I got my pay stub on Wednesday, so we get paid on Fridays, we get our pay stubs on Wednesday. I was missing local pay and an extra stop pay on my paycheck. So again, this is happening every single week, and I just got tired of it, man. I got tired of it. I shouldn't have to jump through hoops to get what is owed to me. Now to my second red line is getting home on my 6th day of work, resetting at home. Now to some of you guys, you might be like, oh, I'm over the road, you know, I don't go home every week. That's fine. if you're over the road, but we're regional. Do California to Utah for a reason. If you live in Vegas, you get to reset weekly at home. That's what was promised from the recruiter when I started, and that has been my situation the whole time I've been here, up until about 2 months ago. So ever since I got new driver managers, but especially this last one, it's become an issue. Now, mind you, I go out on Sundays and I come back on Fridays. In the 2 years, or the almost 2 years that I've been here, I have not reset it at home twice. Once by my choice. I got a load going to Texas, had good miles on it. I knew I was gonna have to reset out there, and it was my choice. And the second one, last winter, they screwed me over on the load going to Montana, which I was trying to beat a blizzard going up there. They sent me up there on false pretenses that they had a load coming back before the blizzard. Long story short, I got there, the load wasn't ready. They knew it wasn't gonna be ready, so they lied to me to get me to do that load. I had to reset up there, wait for the blizzard to pass, and then drive back. And I'll show some footage. Fucking Montana. Never again, Montana. Never again. I've drove back like 400 miles from Montana back to Utah without being able to see the road. Everything was frozen. It was a sketchy drive, but anyways, that was the second time I didn't get to reset. But since then, you know, they're pretty good about getting you to reset at home. Well, the last month I've heard from this new driver manager, well, you know, drivers don't have any set days off. Excuse me? Like, dude, I'm on a dedicated run where I'm guaranteed, you know, I'm supposed to reset at home weekly. It's never been an issue before. Now all of a sudden, you know, we don't have no set days off. Like, how am I supposed to like get stuff done? You know, if we're out on the road 6 days, I need 1 day to do, you know, shopping. I need to buy my food for the week. I need to do any errands I gotta do. And if it's always floating and I never know what day it's gonna be, how do I plan for anything? It's just not realistic, man. It's like this relationship, again, can't be just one-sided. It has to go both ways, you know what I mean? I'm not talking about cater to me and I want, you know, all these days off. No, just the day that I have off, I want it to be the same day every week. So like that I can, and then like, again, it's never been a problem up until this last month. And, you know, up until this last month, the day that I would come home on Friday, usually I either had a load already attached to me that I had to split in Vegas, or I was already in SoCal. I just had to pick up the load and come back. Now, usually the way they set me up, I'm delivering on Friday, then they have me do like some local stuff, and then they give me a load to come back home. So I've been getting home at night to start my reset, and I've been having to split my clock just to make it work, because if not, I would have to come home on Saturday. So that's been stressful because, you know, I enjoy my time off. You know, my 34 hours is, even though for me it's doing errands and, you know, food shopping and getting ready for the next week, it's the day I get to decompress as well, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's been a problem. And then third is giving me the miles, right? Like for Legend, if you work here, there is no driver culture, there is no opportunity for driver growth here, right? And what I mean by that is you're set at the rate that you're getting paid and you're never gonna make more. The reason why is they don't have any type of growth structure as far as a million-miler program, as far as even giving you yearly reviews to potentially give you a raise. They don't. Like, whatever you're gonna make cents per mile is whatever you got hired on as, and it is what it is, right? You're not gonna grow. Also, you don't get any paid vacation here, so if you request time off, you're not gonna get paid for it. So there's no vacation time. You're gonna get paid the rate that you're gonna get paid. No opportunity for growth. And if you start cutting, if you start cutting my miles, then it's like, honestly, it's like I got a pay cut. And that's what it's been this past year. And I think this is the one that I could overlook the most, right? Because, and I think this is the one that I kind of became passive about, because even at 2,500 miles a week, I make 70 cents a mile. So it was still okay. But now that, you know, I'm not able to get home on the day that I want to, and I'm fighting to get the money that is owed to me, I just got to the point where I'm like, is this even worth it, honestly? And yeah, that's where I'm at, man. But anyways, coming to Thursday, the day I pretty much reached my limit. So to begin the week, they got me a load from Vegas on Sunday to San Diego to deliver Monday morning in San Diego. So I'm already starting the week bad, right? It's a 300-mile run from Vegas to San Diego. And then on Monday, I got another, you know, I came back to Vegas because they had a load coming in that night that needed to go to Tulsa for Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. So I had to leave Tuesday at 2 in the morning from Vegas, right? So this one was actually called on, you know, the planner actually called me on this one and was like, yo, dude, can you do us this favor? We really, really need it to get there on time. It was going to a Costco distribution center. But, you know, that caused me to have another 300-mile day on Monday. And me being the person that I am, I said, yeah, I'll take care of it. I'll get it there at 9. But I told them under one condition, though, like getting sent to Arizona, you know, I don't drive in Arizona, right? I'm California to Utah, and being how my weeks have been going, where it's always a struggle to get me back, I just told them, hey, just make sure you get me back on the 15. Give me something going to Salt Lake or SoCal so I can get back to the 15. And he's like, yeah, man, no problem. All right, so I deliver on Tuesday. I get there, you know, I leave at 2 in the morning, get there at 9 a.m. And then I sit and wait for 2 hours for them to give me a local run to do. So I had to split my clock again and work over 14-hour day because I had to split my clock. But I split my clock to do a local run. And after that, they got me a load for the next day to do from Kingman back to Salt Lake. So that was finally a decent run. It was like a 500-mile run. Hold up. But anyway, so that was my good run of the week, right? 500-mile run back to Salt Lake. And you know, I'm trying to recover from this bad week already. You know, with this run, I'm kind of at like 1,500 miles for the week or 1,600 miles for the week, right? Because I had to, you know, drive empty from Tulsa back to Kingman, etc. But, you know, I was at 1,600 miles for the week. So coming into, you know, by this time, it was already on my 4th day getting to Salt Lake. So coming into my 5th day, and I'm only at 1,600 miles, it's a horrible week, right? So I end up taking off and getting to Salt Lake early that day, and I still had 2.5 hours left on my clock, and they took me early for my delivery. So I delivered, and I was ready for the next run. So here I'm thinking, all right, I'm gonna try to recover some of these miles for the week. And I go to the next stop, which this is the load that caused me to go overboard. And I go to the next stop, and this customer already has a tendency of loading the trailers wrong, so that it's always overweight, but they have a scale on site at least. But anyways, I went there thinking, you know, hopefully everything works out, and I got 2.5 hours to start heading back south, because this load was going from Salt Lake down to Ontario, California. I get there, sure enough, it's overweight in the front. I was at 34,600 on the drive tires, right? On top of that, this trailer was missing a mud flap, but not only was it missing a mud flap, the whole arm that is welded to the trailer, or to the frame I should say, for the mud flap was missing. It was ripped off, and man, not only was it ripped off, but you could tell from the pictures that it'd been like that for a long time, right? I was like, man, so automatically already I'm screwed. Ain't no way I'm taking this trailer. It has to be reworked, and it's missing the whole bracket for the mud flap. So I call Breakdown, I call my DM, and I tell my DM, yo man, I still got 2.5 hours. Is there any way you could split my load, or not split my load, but any way you could change my load out, and I'll just, you know, take my empty that I just brought and go pick up something else. And he tells me like, nah man, you gotta stay on this load. And I'm like, he's like, well, you gotta do a 10-hour anyways. And I agree, I had to do a 10-hour if I was gonna wait for it. But I told him, what about this mud flap? He's like, well, call Breakdown. So before I called Breakdown, I went to go talk to the security guard about the load, and they put me back on the door to get it reworked. But they did tell me that it wasn't gonna get reworked until night, so to come back in the morning. But I asked them, hey, if we got a roadside to come in to repair a trailer, well, would that be a problem? And they said, no, that's fine. You know, they could come in and fix on site. I was like, great. So I called Breakdown, and I tell Breakdown, they tell me to send them pictures. I send them pictures. I drop the load off back into a door, start trying to head out, and Breakdown tells me, all right, yeah, just pick it up in the morning and take it to a TA. Yo, if you're a truck driver, you know, if you take anything to a Love's or a TA in a big city like Salt Lake, you're gonna be there all day. Not only that, but this isn't a easy repair. They had to shave off the metal from the last arm. They're gonna have to, you know, fabricate something, weld something to get the mud flap to be, you know, to bolt on the mud flap to something. So it's gonna be some custom work, and I'm gonna be there all day. So I tell my DM, look man, I'm not doing this load. I'm like, I'm already, you know, on a short, I already don't have miles this week, and I'm not doing this load, man. You know, give it to somebody else. I was like, I'm not driving it to a TA, risking myself getting a ticket, and I don't understand why in the 10 hours that I gotta reset anyways, and this trailer has to be reworked, why we can't just send roadside to, you know, fabricate something and get this trailer fixed. And my driver manager comes back to me and tells me, he's like, well, yeah, just stick to the plan, pick it up in the morning and go to TA. And I'm like, dude, I am not driving this trailer without that mud flap. I don't care if it's just going to a TA. I was like, get it fixed here. I was like, that place is about 6 miles away from our drop yard in Salt Lake. So I said, or even still, I'll take it to the drop yard and drop it, you know, after I pick it up in the morning. I'll drop it in Salt Lake, get it repaired, but get me on something else. And he said, nah. He said, no. He's like, you're gonna do this load. So I'm at 1,600 miles for the week. I'm already frustrated, you know, how the last couple months have been going. And I'm not gonna lie, man, this load pushed me over the edge. It really pissed me off that they really wanted me to just lose all day Thursday for this trailer and not make any miles for the week. And I'll be honest with you, the way it goes here, the way it has been going here, what they were expecting from me was to wait all day for this trailer to get repaired and then run it all night, because it was due Friday at noon in Ontario. And I'm not gonna wait for the trailer all day and then drive all night, because I'm not a robot, man. I'm on a morning schedule, you know what I mean? I can't just tell my body, hey, shut off in the middle of the daytime. It doesn't work that way. So anyways, I told him, dude, I'm not doing this load. Tell the planner I'm not doing this load, and find me something else. And he's like, well, if you don't do this load, what do you want to do, a 34? Oh, why did he even say that to me, man? So let me get this straight. You're gonna threaten me with the 34-hour reset in Salt Lake City because I don't want to do this load, that you want me to drive without a mud flap to a TA, where if I get pulled over, it's my ass, it's not Legend, right? And you want me to drive this trailer damaged to a TA, and then on top of that lose all day. So I got to my breaking point and I was like, you know what? And honestly, I had been contemplating quitting for a couple of weeks, and I had even told them, like, man, I'm getting tired of this bull crap. I had told them, you know, that I was getting fed up. And I told them, like, you know what? Find me something back to Vegas so I could split. I quit. I was over it, right? His response was, just pick up the load in the morning, take it to TA, man. Get the trailer fixed. I told him, dude, I don't know how many different languages you want me to tell you I'm not doing this load. So I was like, you either get me something back to Vegas so I could split, or I'm bobtailing in the morning back to Vegas to empty out my truck. It got to a point where this is ridiculous. I'm talking to a wall, man. There's no reason this relationship between the driver, you know, between me as a driver and Legend as the company has to get to this point. There's got to be some compromise. Work with me. I'm willing to wait for the load till the next morning. I'm willing to take it to the yard to get repaired. Why can't you get roadside to come fix it at the customer's site when they said that that's fine? Why? Because you want to save money as a company at the expense of the driver, who's already only, what are you doing, buddy? You're gonna go get in front of me? Who I'm already at 1,600 miles for the week, so I'm already, you know, out here for no reason. I'm not making any money. So everything at the driver's expense, right? It's like, come on, guys. So after I told them to give me something to Vegas, or I was gonna bobtail, their response was, "Oh, we'll just ignore you." So I had it, man. I had it, and in the morning I took off, bobtail back to Vegas. And that came with its own problems, right? Which I kind of knew going in. Here I'm, you know, moving the truck unauthorized, so I was like, they're probably gonna charge me for the diesel. But man, I got to a point where I was fed up. So I took off in the morning, headed bobtail back to the yard, and you know, I was gonna empty out my truck. And you're probably asking yourself, Anthony, why are you doing a load right now if you quit? Let me get to that. So I left at 3 in the morning, and I got to Vegas like around, I would say 7 in the morning, I think, 8, something like that. And when I was in St. George, getting close to Mesquite, the driver manager supervisor called me. And I've spoken to this guy a couple times. About 2 months ago, they screwed me on a load real bad, which I was butthurt about, and I reached out to him to try to help me, and he just ignored me. So him calling me, I didn't really know what to expect on this load, because, you know, I've tried in the past to reach out about something to see if he can help, and his response was just to ignore me. So anyways, he calls me and tells me, hey, what's going on, man? And I told them everything that happened the day before, and how I told them to get me something to Vegas, and they refused, and how they were gonna force me to do a 34-hour there because I didn't want to do this load. And his response was, well, you know, I could call the cops on you right now, right? Because you technically stole the truck. You're doing an unauthorized move. And I thought to myself, man, as somebody who, at a short period in my life, I was in management, instead of de-escalating the situation, you wanted to escalate the situation and threaten me with calling the cops. When I've worked for you for almost 2 years, never been late to a load, don't even try to understand my side of the story, your response is, you know, we can call the cops on you. So my response was like, I'm taking your truck back safely to the Sloan yard to clean it out. Do what you got to do. If you guys got to call the cops, call the cops. I was left with no choice. So then he told me, then we'll do what we got to do. I said, okay. So Drove back to Vegas, you know, a little paranoid, thinking I was gonna get a cop behind me, but I didn't. And started cleaning out my truck. And the reason why I'm doing this load right now is because after cleaning my truck, mind you, most drivers don't do this crap. I do it because I take pride in my work, but look, this truck, not an ounce of dust on it anywhere, I mean. I deep cleaned it, wiped it down, vacuumed it. It's good to go for the next driver. They don't have to clean it, they don't have to do crap. It's ready to go, right? So I sent some pictures of the truck, of the interior and the outside, and he tells me, well, per the documents you signed when you hired on, you can't drop the truck at the Vegas yard because that's just a drop yard. If you don't bring it back to Rancho, we're gonna have to hit you with truck abandonment. Even though I brought their truck back to one of their yards, I'm gonna get hit with truck abandonment, which I'm already thinking, you know, they're gonna charge me a buttload of money, pretty much steal my last paycheck, right? So he tells me, you know, I could give you a load to get back to Rancho, so we don't put the truck abandonment on you. So I told him 10-4, you know what I mean? No problem. If I sign that paperwork saying that I'll bring it back, you know, at my expense with gas, because I'm gonna have somebody to come, you know, come down and pick me up from California, you know, at my expense, fine. You know what I mean? I'll pay for the gas. I'll bring you back your guys' truck because I signed paperwork saying that I would. But I just find it funny how at one instance you're threatening me to call the cops, while in the very next instance you're telling me if I don't continue driving your truck back to Rancho, you're gonna hit me with truck abandonment. But in any case, here I am, man. Here I am. I'm, you know, driving back to Rancho with this load, and yeah, I got a lot of backlash on YouTube from other drivers that posted review videos on Legend because they had bad experiences, and you know, they were saying like, you know, that I was making stuff up, whatever. You know, from my experience on my lane, I can't talk about their lane because I never did their lane, but on my lane everything was great the first year. It's just recently things have been falling apart, and you know, I thank the owner for the opportunity because, you know, I made more last year than I've ever made before, and you know, I got more experience down in my belt because they gave me the opportunity, and for that I'm thankful. You know, I'm thankful, and I'm really, it's really sad that things didn't get to work out, you know what I mean? And it's crazy for me too that the perspective is different from, you know, the perspective at Legend is different depending on who you talk to, because on one hand you got the driver managers and the planners and their supervisor, who obviously, from my experience, I'm not talking about anybody else, but from my experience, don't care about the drivers. We're just pawns, man. We're a dime a dozen. They'll just replace us, right? But the same day that I quit, I had somebody from Legend call me because this dash cam from Legend kept falling off the windshield. So I got this windshield replaced about 2 months ago, and I don't know, the windshield guy used some cheap double-sided tape, so it falls off occasionally. And she called me. Shout out to Cecilia from Safety. She called me that day and was like, hey, you know, what's going on with the camera? I told her what was going on, and she's like, oh, can you get down to Rancho or somewhere to get it fixed? And I told her, you know, unfortunately this was my last load. I had quit. And you know what her response was? Her response was, you know what, sorry to hear that you're leaving, and we just want to thank you for being one of our drivers. And you know, I thanked her for that, because ultimately at the end of the day, you know, as a driver, you want to feel appreciated. You know, you're out here sacrificing your time away from home. You want to get paid, obviously, but you also, it feels nice to be appreciated. And I thanked her for it. And it's just the contrasting difference, right, of how the people that actually deal with the drivers every day treat drivers versus other people in the company that understand, you know, the importance of the drivers to the company. So damn, somebody took out the fence. Wow. Oh, this yard is so jacked up. Ow. Come on. Don't get stuck. Hey, what's up, buddy? Sure. Oh, you got a pen? Since I cleaned out my truck, I don't have a pen. There you go, buddy. Got it? All right, thanks. Not a talker, that one. Yeah, I'll park it over there. Yeah, sorry. Oh, I can't talk right now. Man, that thing, driveway's fucked up. Oh, Jesus. Holy smokes. Damn, this yard is packed. Bro, I said I can't talk right now, man. That's a lot of trucks, man. Well, I'm gonna put the window up because I don't want to. I can't even see out of this mirror now because of all the dust. All right. All right, give a second for that dust to settle. I'm not trying to breathe all that crap in. We good, we good, we good. All right. It's always good to carry bags for this reason. You know, when your BOL box looks like this, obviously you're not gonna be able to put a BOL in there. You put it inside of a bag. And you just place it on the landing gear for the next guy. All right. Alright guys, well, this is the end of my journey with Legend. I'm gonna take a real quick video of this truck and the condition I'm leaving it in, and yeah, we'll go from there. Alright guys, this is about a week after this last video. I'm putting the edits together right now to upload it, but I wanted to show what they did to me in my last check. So my last check, they did charge me the out of miles. They charged me at 442 miles at $1.80 a mile. So they practically took $800 from me. Now, what I find crazy about this, right, is that if you're going to charge me like a customer moving freight, the truck is not autonomous. You know, it doesn't drive itself. So you figure you would pay me as a driver for those 442 miles, which they didn't. And on top of that, that load that I did on Tuesday, that I said that they wanted me to deliver at 9 in the morning in Tulsa, Arizona, I was going to get paid $75 for that. And again, I didn't get paid for that. That's like, 2 months in a row where it's like pay that they're supposed to give me, they didn't give me. So realistically, they almost, garnished $900 from me on my last check, which I don't know if it's legal or not, but just a fair warning to anybody else.